The Curses and the Covenants, A History Weaver Mystery, Book 2, by Connie Worden, read by the author. Chapter 11. Sarah called me the next day before school while I was eating breakfast. "Hey, Ange, how are you? This is somewhat of a professional call. I'm calling in reference to Julia Fairchild." "Oh, you're handling the case?" "Yes, I'm Julia's caseworker from the time social services got involved in her original accusation." "So you determined that nothing had happened with the neighbor boy?" "I can't really discuss the details with you right now, but essentially, yes. But now I'll need whatever details you can give me about Julia's latest accusation." "There weren't any details. I can repeat exactly what she said to me." "Okay, but not over the phone. I was just calling to find out if I could meet you in your office after school today." "Sure, that's fine." "Wow, Mrs. Gallant must have called you outside of working hours if you're on this already." "Well, yes, it's important to get moving on it as soon as possible." "Yeah, I can see that. Sure, my office after school. I don't know much." "That's fine. Just pass on what you can. I'll, of course, be interviewing Julia today, too." "And George?" "Well, that will depend." Oh, I understood. Sarah was hoping it wouldn't need to go that far, that it could be determined early on that Julia was making false accusations again. "I'll be speaking to her parents tomorrow once I talk to you and Julia, but I don't know if George will even have to be involved." "Right, I guess I can see that." "Yeah, Edie put you in the picture about Julia?" "I think so. Makes sense, I think. I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to start an investigation on the presumption that Julia's lying, though." "No, that's not what I'm doing. Don't worry, we take this kind of thing very seriously." I wondered, though, when Sarah was already half planning on not having to talk to the one accused. But then, he was only a 14-year-old boy. Of course, protecting him if the accusation was false would also be a priority. What a mess. I didn't envy Sarah's position at the moment. I didn't envy mine either, come to think of it. How would I handle my sessions with Julian now that I would always have it in the back of my head that she wasn't being truthful with me? I'd try not to let it show, but I knew it would unavoidably create a shift in our relationship. In spite of my best efforts, that relationship would be less trusting on my part. I was sure of that. April 12th, 1898. Such a surprising turn of events. Ole and I are still reeling. What has happened could change our lives drastically. It may depend on what Ole decides to do, but I can hardly think that there is but one decision he can make, truly. The long and short of it is, Ole has discovered gold. Not just a flake, here and there, more even than the sizable nugget that Ole turned up panning in the creek at the bottom of the ravine that marks our property line. It was exciting when Ole discovered the large nugget that told us there is gold in the vicinity. The nugget is hidden in the cradle at present. We thought to keep it if we don't absolutely need it to live on, and now it looks as though we will not. There is more where it came from. Ole has discovered a vein that shows signs of being quite a rich vein. It seems all his most fantastic daydreams could be on the verge of coming true. There is one main difficulty. The gold is not on our land, so very close. And if we had been inclined in the beginning to extend our claim, the government of British Columbia would have honoured the claim. It could now be our land. But it is across the ravine on the far bank, the land that we, unofficially, I must add, made treaty with our native neighbours for. The creek, that we're calling Gold Creek, as it was where Ole found the nugget originally, was plainly declared the boundary of our property line. The streak Ole found is on the opposite bank from our side. We were in need of meat, and a yearling, or so Ole estimates, bear, has been harassing our chickens since he came out in the spring. Ole saw the bear and tracked him to the creek. As the bear was clambering up the side of the bank, before Ole could get a clear shot at him in the brush, a shaft of sunlight on the side of the bank where the bear had scrabbled away the dirt in its haste to climb the side of the ravine made Ole forget all about the bear. The glint of white gleaming in the sun caught Ole's eye, and when he went to investigate, he saw a large deposit of quartz, and went to get a pick and shovel, knowing it could be an indicator of gold. And that is exactly what he found. That bear struck gold for us. But now, what is to be done? Because of the treaty we made, Ole has many scruples, even about revealing his find. I told him that he must at least tell someone who knows what best to do. We're unsure even who holds the mineral rights to the land. Officially, the land is not under treaty. The railway might want to develop it and bring the railroad to our area, which I must confess is a powerful incentive for me personally. I know nothing can be done instantly, but even if all were to receive an advance for the discovery, we could rent a room near a doctor. At least until the baby arrives, my mind would be so much set at ease. I've spoken my feelings to Ole, telling him that the ore will be bound to be discovered one way or the other. He's not the only prospector to pan the creek. I don't see a lick of sense in keeping it quiet. Why should we miss out on any gains to be made when someone else would make them anyway? All for the sake of an unofficial promise that we barely understood, if we understood it at all. And anyway, we wouldn't be the ones to disturb the land. That would depend on whoever decides to explore the vein. It's not as though Ole has the equipment necessary to set up a proper mining operation. At best, there may be a share in the profits or finder's fee or something along those lines. In my opinion, there's no real decision to be made. The decision was made as soon as Ole found the vein. Now he has a duty to pass on what he knows and leave it in other hands than ours. And so I've told him. Yet he hesitates. Sarah tapped lightly on the open door of my office. She came in after we made eye contact without waiting for me to tell her to. Hey, Ange. I had my conversation with Julia already. She told me what she apparently told you, but I'd like to hear your account of it. Trying to see if they match up, I said to myself. She didn't say much, I started. Just came out with, did they tell you that my brother hurt me? She didn't give me any details about the abuse. That was it? Pretty much. And then she said that nothing had been done about it. I asked her if she and her brother still lived in the same house, and she said they did because nothing had been done about it. Then she said she had to go because her mom was there to pick her up, and off she went. Well, that's a little more detail than Julia gave me about the conversation. Did she give you details of the abuse? Very vague ones. So, what's your gut tell you? Sarah primmed her lips up in what she must have assumed was a professional manner and said, I don't listen to my gut, we just go with the evidence. She claims it's been a continuing situation for the past year, but the details are so vague, it will be very hard to determine one way or the other, just from her story. I guess maybe I'll know a little more once I talk to her parents. What can you tell me about her parents? Her dad is Dr. Fairchild, well-respected doctor in town. Her mom is a stay-at-home mom. They moved here from Cherryton when Julia was a newborn, so I've more or less known who they were since then. He's not my doctor, so I don't really know them personally, except through the incident last year. But everyone seems to speak well of him, friendly type. At least the doctor is. His wife is more reserved. Does it seem like a good home situation? Julia doesn't seem to think very highly of her mom. She hasn't even mentioned her dad to me. But watching them out the window when her mom picked her up, it seemed like the mom was trying hard with her. Maybe too hard. That's likely. She'd be a difficult child to raise. I get the impression she always has been. Not surprising if the mom tries a little too hard to please her and they're not exactly close. I mean, she's hard to get close to. I've noticed, I said. How do you get on with her? I don't know how to reach her. Any tips? We did end up spending quite a bit of time together. In ways, she really opened up to me. But again, it's hard to know what to believe, so how open is she really being? Good point. I don't know how to handle her. Just one day at a time, I guess. Good luck with your investigation, Sarah. I don't envy you. No, but this is what I signed on for in my line of work. It's a tough one sometimes, for sure, but at the end of the day, it's all worth it to be able to help kids in need. Yeah, I just hope you get to the bottom of things without any more unnecessary hurt. That's the goal. Just tread carefully. It's what I plan to do. After my conversation with Sarah, I was startled the next day to discover a message on my phone from a constable Martino who'd called while I'd been in the middle of a class. It had to be about Julia. Unless the beast and I were already in trouble for some sort of violation. I quickly dialed the number he'd left, and the same voice in the message answered with a brusque, "Constable Martino here." "Hi, this is Angie Lyons, just returning your call." "Right. Thanks for calling back. Would you be able to stop by the RCMP station sometime today? Just needing to get some information from you." "About Julia Fairchild?" "That's right." "Yes, I can come by after school. Around 3:30? "That would be fine. Just ask for me at the front desk." "Sure thing." Well, this was a development. Last I'd heard from Sarah, she was hoping the investigation wouldn't have to move forward very far. Getting the RCMP involved? That was moving forward pretty far. I wondered if it was Sarah who was calling them in or someone else. I guess I'd soon find out.